Hello, happy Valentine's Day to all of you. Welcome to the Tuesday Night Music Show. We're actually recording this. This is going to be our last show before Christmas, December 25th. So we're recording now. Who knows when you're going to see it? And we've got a lot of people here tonight. We have Kevin joining us from somewhere. Hi, Kevin.
Hi.
And of course, we have John and Matt and Howie and Eric and Jay as well. We're going to do, and it doesn't really matter near here or there. You may not even realize it the way these shows are going to be distributed, but we're going to do a separate record roundup show just to try it, just to see what you guys think of it after this show. Maybe posted on the same day, maybe posted months apart. We don't know. So we're not doing record roundup tonight. We're going to just dive right into the topic, which I don't have one. I have no topic tonight, but I did have something that I was just going to bring up. Jay had mentioned it a while back, where he had said that he couldn't really identify a big banger this year. Are you still of that opinion, Jay?
I am in respects to traditionally at the end of the year, because I'm done for the year. I finished my last gig Sunday.
Sure.
And usually I like to look back and go, what were the big tracks this year? And there are years where there's 7 or 8 tracks that you point to and go, oh, I had great traction with this and this and this and this.
Mm-hmm.
But there was nothing this year that jumped out. I know there are new tracks, obviously. There are tracks every day.
Mm-hmm.
But I think in the conversation we were having, I mentioned Dua Lipa from the Barbie soundtrack. But you know what? I didn't do enough weddings or gigs where I did one bat mitzvah in September, and I played the entire Barbie soundtrack along with like 23 Taylor Swift songs.
Mm-hmm.
So when I look back on the year, the new tracks for me were playing Taylor Swift songs I never played before.
Right.
And some of the Barbie soundtrack. But again, it's only based on the gigs that I do. So It's not based on this song was number one on Bill. And I think this speaks to your point. Billboard's not what it once was.
No, it's
just, it could be number one, for 25 straight weeks. It doesn't mean it's going to make it onto my rotation.
I don't think that it ever really mattered what was on Billboard for us. What mattered was what motivated our audience.
But remember when Bruno Mars came out with the album that had 24 Karat Magic and Uptown Funk?
Yeah.
We were talking about it like
albums.
On Tuesday.
Yeah.
They were, that was not the same album.
I'm pretty sure those are 2 different albums, aren't they? Uptown
They
Funk
seemed like they came out
was a couple years apart, I thought.
Was it that far? I thought it seemed to me that they were closer, but
Uptown Funk just never felt like it went away, and then all of a sudden we had 24K Magic, but I don't know.
And
Matt,
I thought it was another single on the same album. That's why.
I think the 24 Karat Magic, I think that was the name of that album too, and I know that had a lot of hits on it. I'm reviewing the track list here. I'll Google while we talk.
Yeah. In fact, if I remember correctly, Uptown Funk is actually credited as a Mark Ronson song.
It is.
Yeah.
I remember like on a Tuesday when Apple Music got it, they got it as like a video, I think, because my first rip of it from promo only was as a video, not an audio. And I literally played it that week.
Like what year did Uptown Funk come out? Is that a 10-year-old song yet? It's getting close.
Golly, yeah.
12. I was 12.
Up there.
I want to say
14.
I was going to say 14 or 15, no?
If it's 14, it's a 10-year-old song.
14, I think.
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
Well, I'm rocking Usher,
we're still talking about it.
And that's 2009, right?
Yeah. Right, but...
And Uptown Funk was on the album Uptown Special by Mark Ronson, so...
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I still had the same reaction with people about 24 Karat. So, I haven't seen DJs getting excited on Tuesday for Saturday, gigs, talking about songs as much this year.
Right.
The Barbie soundtrack, because the movie shot up to number one so fast, everyone's like, soundtrack's going to bang. But, I just...
Sure.
And I'm dealing with all ages, but they're not coming to me requesting artists that are brand new.
John,
or at least have a big hit right then.
John, what about you? You were doing a lot of stuff this year. You were out there doing all kinds of events. Was there anything new that was standout for you?
I like getting the requests from stuff that I'm not familiar with. See, I don't stream. I don't use services, but I'll get something if I get asked for it enough. I guess the one banger that kind of snuck through for me that I like and still play is the Pitbull with Nile Rodgers, the remake of Freak Out, and that kind of has a good energy. It's got that Latin side with Pitbull in it. J Balvin, I get asked for a lot. Dantes, and we're always going to get asked for Bad Bunny.
You get asked for the jump track? Did you get asked for the jump track by Pitbull? The remake of Jump?
No.
The House of Pain remix? He dropped one this year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just, I mean, there's younger people that come and go, and I mean, it's the young stuff. It's all top 40. It's all stuff that's very easy to find on the radio. It's Taylor Swift. It's artists like that. Legacy artists. But as far as just like an Uptown Funk song from 2024, I don't think we really got anything that's just like, oh, this is going to be here forever.
Right. No, I feel you. Was there anything, while we're on the topic, and I'll just go to Eric on this one, and if anybody has something else they want to chime in, please do. Was there anything that maybe wasn't particularly new, but jumped on your radar this year and you played a lot, Eric?
Well, I did mention this before. It was like a 70s song. Is that what we're getting at here?
What's that?
Is that what we're getting at? It was a 70s songs.
Well, it could be. I mean, you could do 70s songs. I was thinking more like something maybe a couple years old that all of a sudden you started playing. I had a couple of those. Stuff that I didn't jump on the first time, but I eventually kind of got on the bandwagon with it this year, and it did well for me. But yeah, I mean, you've got the big banger from the 60s.
Maxine Nightingale one time just jumped out at me while I was scrolling, and it went over like I couldn't believe it.
It's right back where we started from is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
A lot of energy.
I don't think I've ever played that even before that night.
Right. I was always looking for an excuse to play that song because I love it. I loved it when it first came out. I loved the song, and I think it's an overlooked gem.
It's a great song.
It is. And it's a
I played it at New Year's Eve Gay Hotel.
Yeah.
Every year.
Oh, it's great. It was
every year.
Yeah.
Now it's in my playlist just in case. Yeah,
it's a good track.
The right people in front of you. But one song this year that did stand out to me, and there wasn't a lot, like you guys are all saying, was "I'm Good," David Guetta. That had good traction for me.
Yeah,
the one with BB Rex on it.
BB Rex. That was 22 though, because I was playing that at New Year's last year.
I got a copy from 2019.
Yeah,
but I'm not kidding. It got an early release, but then it got a re-release. It seems this year.
Yeah, that's all valid stuff. There's stuff that we missed the first time, didn't maybe light the world on fire, but we're discovering it now as DJs and playing it. That's valid as well. Doesn't necessarily have to be a release from 2023. I don't believe. Matt, anything on your radar for that?
So as far as things that were more or less resurrected, and this goes for my bar gigs as much as it does weddings, and I feel like weddings too have gotten a lot raunchier as far as what are the floor fillers. Everybody seems to wait to that sort of last hour of the evening after grandma's gone, the pastor's gone, and everything. One of those songs for me was "No Hands" by Waka Flocka.
Yeah.
And then as far as newer songs this year, still in that raunchy vein, "Ski Yee" by Sexy Red. And this is for any audience. These could be the same people that I talked to going into the gig that said, "Oh, we want it clean, just some 70s, just some Earth, Wind, and Fire, and just some line dances." These are the same people that just become totally other people around 9 o'clock at night. And it's like, okay, yeah, get to the good stuff or whatever, Like, okay, sure, your day.
I'll take a pause here and just recognize our sponsor, DJ Event Planner. take a look at the link to them in the description of this video to learn more. Thank you to DJ Event Player and the rest of our sponsors here on this channel. We appreciate you.
Yes.
Howie, was there anything that popped up this year for you that stands out?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, and it's a old song, but with that TikTok thing, the Fleetwood Mac one, I was really surprised. It actually made #1 on the Billboard charts for a hot minute until the next thing came along,
Sure. Yeah, the trendy songs, or the songs that pop up in like commercials or movies.
Yeah.
Those songs come back. We were talking last night, and we were actually talking about Eric kind of, being shaped like Tony Soprano anyway, and talking about Don't Stop Believing, how that song just happened. And Jay talked about a cool thing he did with it, with a blackout.
Yeah, at a wedding. It was awesome.
Yeah.
It really was. Well, that song had American Idol, I think the finale, Sopranos. Sopranos was the last thing. I think it was a movie, American Idol, and then Sopranos. So that thing got like a triple whammy.
All I know is that as soon as last episode aired, I was playing it, and I wasn't playing it before that.
Yeah,
but it was a must play at every event.
It was also
after that, yeah.
It was also the theme song for Clinton's presidential.
No, that was "Don't Stop" by Fleetwood Mac.
Oh,
different. Don't stop. Don't stop thinking about tomorrow was his theme song.
Oh,
I thought it was "Don't Stop Till You Get Enough."
No, that's what
Don't Stop by Freestylers, or
Is that Jay Brandon or Jay Leno?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
He'll play that privately for his girlfriends.
Well, we talked about the TikTok effect, and I mentioned that Chris Cox a year ago, Howie was there.
Yeah,
we were in a Zoom thing with David Guetta or Dead Mouse and Cascade. I can't remember which show, and the host said to Chris Cox, "Hey, we got one of the best remixers on the planet here. Chris Cox, how's it going? Great, how's it going? You doing any new remixes?" He's like, "No." What do you mean? Well, the labels are focused on TikTok because they've got this catalog of 1 billion songs behind them that are already out.
Yeah.
And now they're trying to gain second life. And Brian, you mentioned the Kate Bush effect. I mean, she picked up I think $2 or $3 million this year from, was it Stranger Things?
Stranger Things.
Yeah.
And Metallica got a huge boost on Stranger Things. But your song can, and I joked about, I'm waiting to see Brandy, You're a Fine Girl suddenly blow up on TikTok, and now Looking Glass goes back.
Well, you know why that song came back? Because that song did come back a few years ago.
It did a few years ago, yeah. Well, it came back because the Red Hot Chili Peppers covered it as well. It did a big thing with it.
The big comeback for that song is because of Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Well, that speaks to that point. I remember you saying, and I think I called you and told you, hey, I've got a wedding. It would have been 2021. So 2020 during COVID, but it was a Halloween wedding. And when I said to the bride, what are you thinking for the vibe for dinner? She's like, I'd like Guardians of the Galaxy. And that's what I played for dinner music.
Yeah.
And it was kind of the first time, the last time I remember people saying, I want this album was probably Garden State. And I don't know if you guys are familiar. That was kind of an indie-ish movie.
Yeah.
And its big breakout hit would have probably been Waiting Line by 07. Postal Service was on it. Death Cab for Cutie, 07. It was that kind of a indie record store vibe. And that was the last time I can remember somebody saying, you know what we'd love? Like this.
I
remember they gave me an album as a vibe.
I remember a big vibe, and this is going way back. Many of you probably weren't even DJing it. Well, some of you were, but some of you weren't even DJing at the time when Pulp Fiction hit. That was a thing.
Yeah.
They wanted music
That was
from,
definitely a
from the
thing.
movie soundtrack.
Yep.
So you were playing Jungle Boogie and you were playing Miserlou and Let's Stay Together and
Son of a Preacher Man's on
Hey, Son of a
there.
Preacher Man. Yeah, it was like all this stuff. Just like,
Well,
wow.
Boogie Nights did a little bit of that too.
It
Machine
did,
Gun
but it
from
wasn't the
Commodores.
phenomenon music
It wasn't,
that Pulp
no.
Fiction was.
No, not even close. But I remember getting it and going, "Oh, Machine Gun by the Commodores. There's a track I forgot all about."
The one that bled into that too was Reservoir Dogs, another Quentin Tarantino film.
Oh, yeah.
Where he did Stuck in the Middle with You, Steal.
Oh, Steeler Wheel came back hard from that.
Yeah, so
Cover
that
your
was all
ears.
kind of the same, flashback vibe. 30 years ago, that was a big
Yeah.
thing.
Well, and you're going to see that.
It is.
You're
It's the
gonna
Guardians
see
of the
that more and
Galaxy
more.
effect. Yeah, when it hits a movie soundtrack, like "Come and Get Your Love," I was playing Real McCoys, and then all of a sudden it's like, no, we want the Redbone, we want the original one, because all right,
And
then
it's a damn good song too.
both of
It's a
them are.
great song.
Yeah.
I will say this, and because I do enjoy the films, I'm not a superhero movie guy. I don't like comic book movies, but I really like Guardians of the Galaxy. The third film soundtrack did not have the same vibe as the first and second film, so I don't foresee any breakout songs from that.
You can only go to the well so many times.
Well, they did it very different. They did some more contemporary songs, and it was a lot more down tempo. Not all down tempo, but a lot of it was.
Well,
A whole lot that was like, oh my gosh, I haven't heard this in forever. A lot of it was some indie stuff in there, and
right.
it just didn't feel to me like, okay, like we talk about a vibe, like yacht rock's a vibe, right?
Mhm.
And
Right.
it's hard to describe, and people all kind of have their own opinions on how to put it together. I felt like Guardians of the Galaxy was kind of a vibe. Everything
Right.
hooked
Oh,
on
it
a
was.
feeling to
When he had the cassette player, there was a vibe. 'cause he was
wham
with
bam
mixtape.
shang-a-lang, and
Right.
just it's a vibe. But I didn't catch a vibe in the third one. It was kind of all over the place. Something
I
else I, did
never
want to
watched those, by the way. And I watched Guardian of the Galaxy once
my house. Yeah, my house.
at your house.
Yeah, my house. Yeah.
Yep.
So, what was I gonna say? I had something, and Jay
Interrupted.
screwing with my poor brain damaged head.
John, write the
Oh, I
date.
remember what I
this
was
is
gonna
the
say.
first time that's ever happened.
Stop.
The date.
Stop.
I interrupted.
Stop. I got
never
a thought. What I was going to say is maybe the reason that we haven't heard a lot of these songs this year come back because the movies are filmed or whatever. Maybe that has something to do with the writer's strike, because we didn't get nearly the amount of
Oh,
content
Could be.
that we would normally
There you go.
get in a normal calendar year.
No films, no soundtracks. Kind of goes hand in hand, right? It's like everything's on hold.
I mean, things were released, but they had been done and they were just in, post production or whatever.
right.
But we would have gotten more content if it hadn't have been for that. I mean, we would be watching Stranger Things right now
Right.
and several
True.
other shows. So maybe there would be this, like last year, what was it? Goo Goo Muck and Bloody Mary with
Yeah.
Yes.
the Wednesday film.
Yes.
So we didn't get any of that
Lady
this year, but
Gaga's track.
I'm thinking maybe that's why we didn't get a lot of that. Just that's a lot.
When I think about shows that have been buzzworthy this year, one that comes to mind is Succession.
Mhm.
And that's a show that, for the most part, most of their soundtrack or their score is just instrumental stuff written for the show. So it's not really one of those shows that uses a lot of
Right.
well-known tracks like that.
Sure.
You know,
Cheaper that way.
So
It's much cheaper that
yeah,
way.
good point.
You don't have to pay the
Good point.
licensing. Yeah.
But
Yeah,
who
it's much
knows?
cheaper
Who
that
knows?
way.
You might be able to drop that Succession theme song like in the middle of a set one day, and people are just like, "Oh my god!"
I know that I have
Never
weird
know what's
stuff
gonna
like
work.
the Survivor theme song, and
Mhm.
there are some like that just people. Oh, was it X-Files? The theme for that.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Well, I think you're going to see the Tom Petty track, Love is a Long Road, which until 2 weeks ago, if I'd said that song, I would have gotten a look from all of you of, yep, don't know it. Well, there's a 1.5-minute video from Rockstar Games about GTA 6.
Yeah.
Mm.
And the entire video plays Love is a Long Road. That clip, minute 31, in 2 weeks has had 154 million views.
Wow.
If you go in and look up GTA 6 Tom Petty, that song in the last 2 weeks has picked up about 16 million views of his song. So be prepared at least for that track. And when GTAs come out, they have music really up front. Like I mentioned Poison. My sister went to school because we were watching the Charles Stewart documentaries on HBO, and they were talking about busing, John, in the 70s.
Sure.
My sister is friends with Michael Bivins from Belle Biv DeVoe and New Kids in the Block. No, New Edition. Because he went to school with my sister in my town, but he's from Roxbury. And my son, I said, you know the song Poison by Belle Biv DeVoe? He's like, oh, that's in GTA 5. That's when you get to the radio station. That's the dance song. That's his correlation of it.
Yeah.
Because he's 18.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you're going to see this effect that you're mentioning, Brian, moving forward with TikTok and other social media, but also now, at least with Grand Theft Auto and maybe other games.
Well, Grand Theft Auto, this has done it before.
Right. And they've had that effect before. They're going to have it again.
What was the
so just be prepared.
Fascination was the song that you would just play.
Yeah, but they don't release a soundtrack to it. Right.
No, but people know it from that.
But they know it's in the game. And so it's another way to get in. It's like this year, if you're a DJ and didn't have your Taylor Swift catalog updated, you made a huge mistake because the opportunity passed you by.
Guitar Hero didn't have as much of an impact on what I do because I'm not doing a lot of rock for the types of events that I do. But people recognize it.
Right.
From rock riffs and solos and things.
Kids had the PS2 and they were playing that Twisted Metal game, and I'll just play Rob Zombie's Dragula over and over and over and over in the background. And eventually, after 6 hours, you learn the words to it because it's just constantly in the background, just repetitive, going over and over.
You know who else does this? A lot of TV commercials. They'll bring up some old music.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
And you're going to hear a lot of stuff because people are selling their catalogs off and they got to make their money somehow. Yeah. So it's coming. Wait till Super Bowl.
They're going to release it in weird places.
Wait till Super Bowl.
Does anyone know Dragon Force? You know, the band Dragon Force? That's one of the Guitar Hero songs that blew up. And I probably have played it 10 times at weddings because Through the Fire and Flames became a big track based on it being in this game. It's the only song I can name from the band.
Yeah.
But they've had a little career based on that. So I think you're going to see bands pivoting to, we're cool with you releasing this. Let's get it on TikTok. Let's promote it. So I think we're going to benefit because I think our old music that we all already own, we're going to be ready. New DJs are going to be in trouble because they're going to show up and go, who's Looking Glass? Who's this? What's that? I've never heard of Kate Bush.
Right.
Look,
they didn't have it the first time.
If anybody plans on dancing anytime soon, we're going to have to go back to the old stuff because nothing happened this year. This year into like EDM or something. I wanted to go to our new friend, Kevin, who has been in the shadows for months.
Welcome, Kevin.
Now got a camera. And he's now got a face. And he is far off into the distance. He's pulling one of these on us. But he's here.
Approach with caution.
We call that Whitsack. We call that Whitsack.
I wanted to ask Kevin if there was any music that stuck out to him this year that he was playing.
Can Kevin give us a quick where he is located, what gigs he does?
Who cares?
Well, it gives a better, he's obviously in witness protection because he's in the Whitsack post in the back. But like if he's doing weddings or clubs, what region of the country? Because it gives us a better vibe when we get people from his area. Oh, Kevin mentioned the other night.
Maybe you stop talking. He'd get a chance to say something.
Welcome to the show.
I'm sorry, Brian. The show's actually over. I want to thank our sponsors and everyone for tuning in.
Sorry, Kevin. Go ahead.
It's okay. I told some of you guys I'm 50 miles north of Columbus, Ohio. So I'm an OSU Buckeye. Graduated from Ohio State. Grew up on IO.
Okay, just testing.
I know it.
He's real. He's real. Yeah. Okay, he can go.
So grew up on the family farm. My uncle was a DJ locally. Got big enough that he worked in a club in Detroit. And I sort of got hooked on it from him. So I started hanging out with him. Learned a lot from him. Learned a lot from another DJ company that I still help out with. Now I'm doing more on my own because the company had two owners, and the one owner sold it completely out to the other one in Columbus, and he had his own team. So now I'm sort of doing it on my own, trying to get more marketing and more social media, more just everything. So I'm a Midwest guy. Just because I grew up on the family farm does not mean I like country.
You fit right in.
It seems like, you know,
Ding, 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 ding.
I did like Green Acres, but that's about it.
You know, I was almost born in Ohio.
They just jumped across the line.
Well, I was born in Richmond, Indiana. It's right on the border.
Yeah.
Like you could throw a rock at Ohio from where I was born.
Yeah.
And where I'm from. So
It's a place down in Kentucky, right down near Ohio, according to
Spreckle in the Lingley. Yeah, it's kind of little Kentucky there, but that's another show. Any songs stand out to you this year, Kev?
No, not really. Like you said, anything from the Barbie soundtrack, I try them. They didn't really hit as far as dancing. It was more of the traditional stuff like Lizzo, About Damn Time.
Sure. Yeah. Going back a couple of
songs I like that haven't hit, like Little Boo Thing. I thought it's got a nice beat. It's a nice short song. But nothing's really hit. I primarily do weddings, but I consider myself an event DJ specializing in weddings.
Yeah.
I do some school things. The school things all want the foul language bleeped out music.
Oh yeah.
And so that's a given.
Prom. You want things they can't dance to. It's fun. It's really fun.
Yep.
I let them bring up requests. Some of the schools, they say, here's the list we're working with. You know, all my music's edited because I do enough school stuff that I'm not going to bounce back and forth.
You mentioned, I think last night we were talking that you are a Top Itch USA guy.
Yes.
Yeah. RPM out of Detroit.
Bloomfield, I think.
Good people.
Yeah.
Ada and I've known Ada for years. He's a good guy.
Yeah. So that's my music source. Now, if I need something on the spur of the moment, you know where you can get it. So
right. No, they are very comprehensive.
Yeah. So it's pretty large. And then I had family, and I got a large CD collection and tapes and everything from growing up.
As you're supposed to as a DJ.
That's right. I don't have the records collection you have.
You don't got to have that anymore. That's just something I hoard.
No.
I was thinking about some of the tracks that I've played this year. As far as new tracks go, I mean, it's been a lot of the Taylor Swift stuff, like you guys have mentioned. Mm-hmm. And the interesting thing about playing the Taylor Swift songs is it brings out a crowd, but not the crowd. So if you are a Swiftie or you are a young lady under the age of 25, you're very excited about this. But unless you play Shake It Off or Trouble, you're not going to just attract anyone else out there. Mm-hmm. And in the songs, I mean, unfortunately, Cruel Summer and Karma were big ones. Mm-hmm. And what was the other one?
Antihero.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And every time I hear that song, all I hear is Prince's Kiss, but not as good. That's the beat. But sounds like it was recorded through a telephone or something. And looped in a really odd spot, but it just sounds like Prince's Kiss to me. And it's like, wow, yeah, Prince's Kiss was a good song and had some energy to it. And I've played them back to back, and it's actually worked really well. And it's brought the energy into
how that works. She was just at Gillette Stadium, and I'm sure she was telling everybody, there were more people here when I played than when the Patriots are playing this week. She sold it out like 3 nights in a row, 70,000 people, bang, bang, bang.
Whatever, man. I mean, whatever turns people on, but it's a matter of, like anything else, it's great for a group, but is it amazing for the collective? And when we are doing events like we do, we are dealing typically with more than one demographic. Even when you're doing schools, you're doing several different people or kids from different walks of life. Were you like everybody in school? I certainly wasn't. There were a lot of different subgroups, and it's the same thing when you're playing any event. Mm-hmm. Usually you have a lot of different people that you want to play to and cater to, and I never felt like the Taylor Swift stuff was bringing everyone together. Yeah, but yeah, it's been a lot of the older stuff. Sure, I did Dua Lipa, But I don't remember Dua Lipa being a big floor filler for me. It was just something that I played, you know? It was
I had
within
high
the.
hopes. I had high hopes for
Yes, I remember when that came out. You were very excited about that track.
We all were. We all thought it was going to be the next one because we all liked Levitating and we all liked
Oh, I love
Again. I mean, those are
Her
just
new
great.
one, Houdini's really good too, and there's a lot of great remixes of it.
I love playing that track. I play the rapless edit of that track because you know what they say? Rap is like candy. Or music is like candy. It's great when you remove the wrapper, you know?
Yeah.
So that's a song that I did very well with this year.
I like that.
But no, as far as tracks that I'm looking at right now, I've got a New Year's Eve gig coming up. And when I do these events, what I want to do is almost a year in review. But if there's something hot or something that maybe hasn't quite caught fire yet or something that I just think is cool, I want to play it. And I played one for you guys last night that I really like.
Yeah.
And I think you guys liked it too.
That would work.
The Wookiee?
Yeah. The Wookiee track. Yeah.
That was a good
Sunshine.
Safe
That's
House.
a good track.
Why not?
Oh, no, that Safe House does, I can get away with anything down there.
Yeah.
It'll be very up-tempo, and I will do a good EDM set down there, and I will put Wookiee in there. I will also put artists in there that I've never, in last years, they weren't even on my radar, but they are this year. I'll be doing acts like Fisher, you know, as far as EDM goes. More of the mainstream EDM stuff that I'm more familiar with now than I was last year. I don't know that Fisher did anything this year that lit the world on fire, but there are tracks like Losing It.
Nothing like Losing It.
Totally
Yeah.
Losing It is the one, yeah. They put out
that's
something
the
this year.
track.
Atmosphere they put out this year. It was like, nah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
It was okay, but it wasn't Losing It.
Right.
That's his Sandstorm. I don't think he's going to top it.
Well, that's like the artist Wookiee I was talking about, who you may have never heard of, those of you watching. Last year, what was the track? Edge of 17. He did the remix of Stevie Nicks' Edge of 17, and it was popular. I didn't really get excited about it, but he had two tracks this year that I loved. Like, I genuinely was like, wow, this is cool. Does a Sherilyn To Be Real rework, and then he also does Sunshine, which is the one that came out, I guess, in like September. And I'm just starting to hear it now, which is, what is the Temptations who do that song? My Girl?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a remix of that. And it's like really good. It's a lot of fun. So that's the kind of stuff I'm going to be playing on New Year's, along with Dua Lipa, the Barbie stuff, and of course, Levitating, the Fisher stuff.
Throw in a little booth in too, okay?
The little booth thing is that mix. That's it. That's the
That's for my
trifecta.
love. Yeah.
That's to my love. Booth thing, sneak that in the middle, and then you get emotions,
There
and
you
then
go.
two got to be real Cheryl Lynn on the end of it, and that's a perfect little pancake right there.
Yeah.
You want me and Buddy to come down here and help you?
Yeah, I need you. I need you. Come on down. So that's, you know, I guess when I do New Year's in my brain, what I would ultimately love to be doing is taking all the music that I did that year, play it, and discard it and start all over again for 2024. But I know that's not going to happen because there's not going to be enough fresh content coming out for me to start over. So
keep most. Just keep adding to it. That's all. Make the go-to crate, big old party crate.
So yeah, that's this year, folks. Not a big banger year for big floor fillers for us DJs, or even things that I guess are turning a lot of us on. Even if we're just music connoisseurs, maybe there's not a lot of stuff out there that you thought, hey, there was one thing this year that just my favorite thing musically this year, my absolute favorite thing, and just can't get enough of it, and I still love it, and that is my discovery, but it's been around for a while. But I discovered Leonid and Friends this year.
Oh yeah.
And that was just something that made me feel good.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know what that is, Leonid and Friends is an all Russian group,
Ukrainian.
or orchestra, if you will, of studio musicians, young and old,
Yes.
who redo Earth, Wind, and Fire songs, Chicago songs,
Yes.
like Blood, Sweat, and
ELO.
Tears.
ELO.
No, they don't do ELO.
But they're
I thought they
spot
did.
on perfect, though. It's amazing.
They do
good.
better versions of those songs than the original artist did.
Consummate musicians. They are super tight for a cover band.
Wow.
quote
Yeah.
unquote.
Yeah, everything is just done so well.
Mm.
So that was my favorite thing musically this year, I think, was Leonid and Friends.
Yeah,
I
I'm
had a
gonna
lot
go-
of fun
I'm gonna
sharing
go with-
that with my family and my friends.
Yeah.
And I didn't see him this year. I was bummed out about that. Every time they were playing right across the street from Safe House on a night I was doing a wedding way out in the country. So I missed them. They probably came into the club and I didn't even know it. And they didn't even know who they were. So it's a bunch of people sitting at the bar asking for White Russians.
The kind of vodka. The kind of vodka you have.
We'll have vodka.
Vodka with a
And Brian will not be here next week. He's now been canceled. So
I've
I
triggered the
apologize
Russians.
if you're woke and triggered.
B. Yeah.
Vodka.
They knew a good vodka. They knew a
With
good
a
vodka when
W,
they
vodka.
Yeah.
Now, to further his wokeness, he's now making fun of accents. So again, this does not speak to the show whatsoever. Brian is a rogue individual. He's taking this on his own.
They came through Mass too. I had gigs every single night that they were close by, that they were within 40 minutes of me. I was like, geez.
Oh, right in Lowell. Yeah.
They were right up. You could have went without me.
There was a
I
free
don't go
show.
anywhere without you, John.
I know.
Oh yeah, like Burlington.
I feel the love.
Whatever.
Oh, he went there. I didn't. I said,
Yeah, I know
don't
you
go.
didn't.
Yeah.
Last night you did. Tonight you did. Okay.
So maybe if they tour next year, I'll actually take the time and
I'm sure they will. They'll probably.
I
add
don't know.
some
They got to
new
go
tracks,
home and they did
dodge bombs.
I think they called it their spring tour, and then they did a summer tour. And I don't know if they're still out by you, but if not, they
I'll
recently
check.
wrapped up by you. They recently wrapped up.
I would
by
think
you.
they want to continue the tour and call it. We're not in a war zone right now. Tour.
Yeah, let's stay out on the road tour.
Yeah.
Let's not
We're
go home
not, our
tour.
bus doesn't get hit by missile. Thank you, tour.
Well, they're primarily
Yeah,
Moscow,
I could
which
see them
is under
playing
fire
anywhere
right
at this
now.
moment.
But
Yeah.
Right. We can
Well,
check them out
part
for
of
the
them
show.
are from the Ukraine too. It's Ukrainian and Russian.
Serge is
aren't
Kiev,
they?
but he's not even playing with them right now because he's fighting.
Yeah. See, again, I
Yeah.
could see a reason to say, "Hey guys, have we touched on Steely Dan at all? Because they have a big catalog. We should probably learn their whole catalog. We could just stay here at this Holiday Inn in Milwaukee and just like maybe practice."
for a year. Yeah.
We want to
There's a
record
song.
at some of these historic American studios.
They're going to
Yeah,
be opening
that's
for
it.
Spinal Tap next year, doing their jazz fusion tour. Seriously, you guys want to do a wedding? How much? I got $300. We're in.
We're
Okay,
in.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where is it? Temecula. Is it near Ukraine? No. Great.
Yeah.
We're
We're
playing.
going to play every Earth, Wind, and Fire song we know for
Yeah.
6 hours.
This is how I'm going to get wealthy.
Yeah.
I pay them $300. I charge $18,000. I can see this making me some money.
This is how bad it is. When I go to visit my mom, sometimes she's just got Leonid and Friends YouTube channel on shuffle as I walk in the house.
There you go.
She's that into
Oh,
it.
Mom's cool about it. Mom's cool
yeah, my
about
mom
it.
is like stupid.
She's not doing Engelbert Humperdinck on shuffle.
No.
After the lovin' and sadly
Please-
walking around dusting.
Please
you
release
know?
me. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
After the lovin'.
It was a
So,
nice
yeah.
break from Maroon 5, because I was getting a little tired of that.
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez.
I know.
After his screw up this year. I
My-
think
my
that's the
mother.
other thing as a side note is how fast, if you make a mistake, like back in the day, there'd be rumors.
I didn't
about
know anybody
a
from Maroon
singer.
5 made a mistake this year.
I mean,
Yeah, the lead singer. It started
Adam.
last year and it ran into this year.
Adam Levine, what do you do?
Well, there was a texting back and forth with a girl who put out a TikTok and said, here are the texts about him cheating on his wife kind of thing while she was pregnant.
Is that why everybody gives me dirty looks when I play moves like Jagger now?
Well, I'm not
Okay.
kidding. There's a point where, do you guys remember a couple years ago after the documentaries of R. Kelly and Michael Jackson? I started getting brides that were emailing going, by the way, at our wedding, we do not want any Michael Jackson or R. Kelly. Because those documentaries had a huge impact. And as we get older and they get younger, they're even more sensitive to those kind of things. Like we could write off, oh, so-and-so has a drug problem. So what? So-and-so might be gay. So what?
Yeah.
It's not the same today. Like Maroon 5 went down in their plays based on this controversy. And I think as we move forward, musical acts that are popular on Monday might take a hit by Monday afternoon if they're not careful.
Well, I'll say this, Jay. Wow. And I kind of understand and agree with backing off of controversial artists when the topic is hot.
Right. And then you can work them back in.
Eventually, the dust settles. Michael Jackson, we're playing Billie Jean without being asked to play it again.
Gary Glitter. Remember
I never played Gary Glitter. I never
played Rock and Roll Part 2?
No, the closest I ever got to playing Rock and Roll Part 2 was playing Doctor and the TARDIS by the Time Lords.
Okay, well, your events are different. I don't.
I'll play it for you after the show, and you'll understand.
Okay,
but it's the KLF.
Again,
remember the KLF? What time?
Oh, it's the KLF. Yeah. It's
the KLF. They call themselves the KLF. Yeah.
Right, but that's the thing. It's like you get these once in a while thing. Well, example. Who is probably the out of nowhere established artist who went on fire towards the end of 2023? And in my opinion, it would be Dolly Parton.
Yes.
Because Dolly suddenly got the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame thing. She put out an amazing album with 30 tracks.
Yeah.
Where she splits vocals with a lot of famous people. Yeah. She worked with 2 of the 4 Beatles on it.
Right.
Paul McCartney and Ringo are on the same track.
Yeah. John and George
Dolly's got
make
cash.
it to those sessions. Yeah.
Well,
okay, once again, folks, this is Brian's last show, so he's just
and then Dolly dressed up like Dallas cheerleaders, and she did a halftime.
No, we'd love to show. Yeah. We'd love to come and support you. We're just buried right now. We got so much stuff going on. We can't.
Oh man! Oh wow! Okay, well, again, Brian Diceman Red. You can catch him working at Safe House and Vic's out on Route 14 going towards Madison. If you want to really catch that. And that cheese sandwich shop between you and Chicago.
Sandwich shop.
Whatever that castle joint is that I went to.
Oh, Mars Cheese Castle.
No, but I think you're going to see music because I don't think it doesn't work the way it did back in the day on the charts. And it's like right now, if I said to you, Brian, you're doing a gig this weekend and the group is going to be 20 to 35. And I want you, and I'm the promoter. Hey, Brian, 20 to 35, I need you prepared with the newest bangers. What would be your first source to look at to find the newest bang? And don't pull this, well, I'd go back to, no. If you had to do a research project on new bangers, what would you use? I.e., would you go to the radio stations around you and see their top 20 lists? Or would you look somewhere else? Because I think that's where it's difficult now.
I think what I would actually do is check out whatever the contemporary radio station was for that demographic and see what was being played. And then from there, find out or just listen to, obviously there's some songs that, aren't going to motivate anyone to do anything. If my objective is dancing, I'm going to want to find the songs that are danceable. And there are some, and I've noticed that the radio stations that seem to cater to that demographic that I listen to or I tune into once in a while, they're doing the same thing we're doing. They're playing the contemporary songs that they feel like they have to, the new stuff because it's fresh, but then they're playing Uptown Funk too because it's something with some energy in it. So,
but it's like how far
it's not just us.
Go?
Program directors are doing the same crap we're doing.
Oh, absolutely. They have to. They're older and they don't have anywhere to go.
Yeah.
I remember in the 80s being of club age, going to clubs, you weren't walking in the door and being like, man, I can't believe they're playing the Staying Alive soundtrack or they're only playing disco. Like they were focused on the newer music of the day and maybe they'd break it down by genre like new wave versus rock or whatever. But it seems to me now, when I talk to my 18 and 21-year-old, they're genuinely, if Connor, my 21-year-old, and had 100 friends come over, I'd play like classic rock and yacht rock, and they'd have a great time because that's their thing.
Yeah.
It's gone from you can judge people in their age with music to you've really got to do some research now. Colin likes stuff that I didn't think he would, but he also likes a lot of new stuff. And you know where his source is? It's not the radio, Spotify, and it's SoundCloud. SoundCloud is where he shops for his music. Yeah. Much more than Spotify, because SoundCloud has the underground or the one-off or the, if you like this group, you'll love this artist kind of stuff. So I go to SoundCloud once a year because I hear a remix I like. But again, I think our jobs are going to be easy still, but we're going to have to expand a little bit into what is Tidal's top streaming tracks? What is Spotify's top streaming? Who's getting what? Like, I think we all saw on Facebook and Instagram, the end of the year, Spotify releases artists, how many streams, the countries. I think they might do an age demo. I could be wrong on that, but I know they release how many hours were streamed, how many tracks, how many this. And it shocks me to see big artists doing, 164 million songs by this person were streamed. And I'm like, they're not even relevant in the scheme of having a hit out.
Sure.
But yet they're obviously relevant on that medium.
Yeah. But the other thing that it's kind of like going back to the old Billboard days, just because it's on the Billboard chart doesn't mean that it's going to work for your event to generate the desired response, which is usually dancing and not just, again, not just dancing for one group of people, but for everyone to kind of be able to dig it. Middle of the road stuff. So you
got to look at the pop chart, alternative chart. What's hitting on country? What's hitting on soul, R&B?
Sure.
This is just it's the same thing, but now it's just different places we go look for the answers.
It's a source on a spoon feed. Yeah.
But
you
we're also
actually
fortunate.
Listen to the stuff and analyze it.
Yep.
Right. But the one thing we're lucky about that the client never recognizes that we do is that if you can get a segment going on the dance floor, I played Too Short, Blow the Whistle, and I got some of the older people to come out. Well, that suddenly inspired an insane rush of 20-somethings. And I'm like, are they into Too Short? Are they familiar with this track? They jazzed to like Freak a Leak by PD Pablo, like all the stuff that came out. And then I realized, oh, wait, this would be when they were like 10 to 12 years old or 12 to 14.
I was listening to the radio.
It's okay. It's a little relevant.
Yeah.
It's relevant in that respect. But if I also got the group to go crazy on some much older stuff, ABBA, for example.
Oh,
like Gimme, that track, every event
that
seems to
started
get played.
to hit for me last fall.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
me too. What was the genesis of that from last fall, though? Because Mamma Mia was a few years ago.
I don't know. Clue where there are so many shows that I don't watch. Like I've never seen like any of the Parks and Rec stuff. I've never seen there's a lot of shows I've just never watched. That
could have been a TikTok
or Big Bang Theory. Right? I don't even know if that's still on, but I don't watch those shows. I'm not a sitcom guy, but sometimes that stuff may pop up in there.
No, I don't either.
And then there's just a lot, many streaming services.
Maybe that's a topic for next year to look at what shows have the most influence. Is it Stranger Things? Is it, whatever?
For ABBA, Gimme, I think when Madonna's Hung Up hit, it brought that back because it's the same.
Yeah, but that was 20 years ago.
I was going to say, but that was
like 2004, 5. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, 20
that
years
track
ago.
for me started about.
Put it back in the rotation. It's like, I guess this is as good as, Dancing Queen.
Right.
If we have to.
I didn't play it last year. I've played it probably 15 times this year.
That's what I'm saying. The request, 25, 30-year-olds, gimme. I'm like, what do you know about that song?
Right, exactly, Eric. Where is it coming from?
We've got a few minutes left before we wrap the show. I wanted to go to John's point. He mentioned something that no one else mentioned, and that was country. And the artist that Shay mentioned Dolly Parton, but I think the artist that really put his stamp on this year was probably Morgan Wallen.
Yeah,
Oh
Morgan
my God!
Wallen.
Yeah,
Everybody
nice.
wants Last Night and
Right.
a bunch
But the
of them. Yeah.
weird
Chasing
thing
You,
about
yeah.
Morgan Wallen, and help me out with this if I'm dead wrong. You gonna dance to that? And if you are, is anyone going to join you who's not a Morgan Wallen fan?
Now it's either slow dance. There's no fast dance to Morgan Wallen.
It almost reminds me of Taylor Swift. You're either a fan or you're not.
But I think it's a segment of country. It's the Tyler Childers. It's that Texas
Mhm.
country where it's like guitar and singer. That's old country. That doesn't sound like Luke Bryan and the new poppy country. There's a real movement because I have a ton of country weddings out here, and it becomes we don't want the new pop stuff. We want Morgan Wallen, Jelly Roll, this one, that one. And I'm like, oh, okay. They want the stuff that sounds more authentic. By the way, there's a great video of Morgan Wallen with shorter hair, looking all poofy, auditioning
For American Idol.
Yeah, in
Or America's Got Talent or The Voice
2014
or
or
something.
Talent or The Voice or
Yeah.
one of them. But I mean, there's something to be said for that. There's a guy, I want to say Colton.
Dix.
Is that it? He's got one song and it went to number 1. He's unsigned, no label support. No, not Colton Dix. That's different. I know who you're talking about. That's that one that does like country songs that are very gay oriented because he's a gay man and he writes from that perspective.
Yeah,
there's
that's
another
you
one he
turned
does
us onto that because
I
you're
did turn you guys on.
you have your finger on the pulse of that kind of stuff.
Well, that's where that's
Vernacular.
you stay where you are. The swinging
You
capital of
talking
the
about
world
that
where I live.
redhead guy that was singing
Yeah,
at
he
the video,
plays
singing
on
in
like
the woods,
a railroad track. Yeah,
Rich
or in
Man,
the
north
woods.
of Richmond. Yeah,
Rich
North- and he's had, like,
north
one
of
song.
something.
North of Richmond,
yeah. I
Yeah,
know.
he's had like one track, and it like the guys, there's a bidding war with millions and millions of dollars to sign the guy, and he's kind of like, nah, I found God and I quit drinking and I'm good. And like, it just shows the strength of the internet. Now you can be a dude in the woods with a guitar and completely change the trajectory of what's going on because the second you're popular,
Reminds me
the
of Paul
record
Davis.
labels are run by weasels who want.
Right.
Yeah, he does.
Paul Davis
yeah.
was a guy in the woods with a guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah. And-
Totally.
Yeah. Cool night.
But you know how the labels
crazy.
operate. The labels operate with what's going to make money.
Yeah.
So if this is popular today, they can't find the second copy of that fast enough.
No, well, he's genuine.
So-
and if a label gets hold of him and be like, now you're going to
he's
do what we want you
completely,
to
and
do.
that's
and
why I
he's
think it came
not about
through.
that. Yeah.
No, he's like, this is who I am, what I do. Well, we're going to shape your image. Nope. I'm
No.
just going to hang out in my woods.
Well, let's see what 2024 brings us. Maybe we'll have like this whole resurgence of bangers. What do you think? Chances?
It'd be nice.
Chances?
I wouldn't bet on it.
Oh, it's
But-
No, I
possible.
wouldn't either.
I'd be
By
hoping.
the way, if you like Wookie, go to his Instagram and follow him because he makes those posts all the time.
I would
Where he
have
puts
to.
up little clips of beats I can't release, he calls it.
We
Yeah.
should tell the people. Wookie
And
is
it is great.
WUKI, just so that you guys. It's
Yeah,
not Wookie like
WUKI.
Chewbacca, or it's Wookie.
So I'd have to open an Instagram account to do all that.
Well, yeah. And by the way, if you do want to get his stuff, I know Promo Only Pool has some of it, but he also sells it direct on kind of an old school method called Bandcamp.
Oh yeah, Bandcamp.
Yeah, he's on Bandcamp. So a lot of his beats he quote unquote can't release, he'll sell you on Bandcamp,
Or you
which is
gotta
where
go
I
to
found that whole Modern Jukebox.
Yeah, Postmodern Jukebox.
Remember when Modern Jukebox hit? Yeah,
Postmodern
that was all
Jukebox,
Bandcamp. And you go in and you just pay what you want, but
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of a cool system. You actually feel obligated to pay like $20, $30 for an album, but you could pay $1. You know,
We've also got
but then
I Like Music on Promo Only now, which is
Oh,
a great
yeah.
place to grab that kind of stuff.
I think that's a show almost because I looked on it the other
I've
night
talked
for
to
some
Nick.
artists.
We were supposed
Yeah,
to do it this
it's
week and
great.
Nick flaked on me, but I'm going to
Okay.
do a show. So go back on my YouTube channel when this video gets posted and the video that I'm going to do in the future from my perspective right now, I will have done 2 months ago, and you can go watch it.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see how the video went, but the video is going to happen.
Have you looked at tracks on it? I did the other night.
Yeah.
And I was happy.
Good, I beta tested it.
I didn't. I was quite
trying
happy to see.
Stump the program, and I couldn't do it.
Yeah, no, they had a
really good
lot
stuff.
of product on there. I was
That's where
really happy.
That's where I grabbed Shine, Dolly Parton. I grabbed, Waiting for a Train.
Yeah.
On there from Flash in the Pan. There were others. There was
they've got a
weird
really
country song that I
catalog.
grabbed. There's neat stuff on there. And
yeah, there really is.
In fact, I just bought credits to buy a couple other things. I bought that Fat Boy Slim Weapon of Choice remix on there. Nice. It's good service. But neither here nor there. Thanks for watching, and happy, I don't know, summer solstice, whatever's happening in your life right now. We'll see you in 2024. We're seeing you in 2024.